Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jason with JWClassicVW and welcome back to the vlog. If you're new to the channel, thanks for tuning in. On my channel, we do stuff with my 1956 oval window Ragtop Goose. You want to take a look at Goose real quick? Yeah, you do. So this is my baby, Goose, my 1956 oval window Ragtop, and you can see that she's up in the air right now because I've been doing some crazy stuff to the front beam. And if you don't know about that, then you probably need to follow my Facebook or Instagram because there's been lots of photos on there about me narrowing my 2-inch narrowed beam a little bit farther. And we'll talk more about that in a later episode where we're actually gonna narrow the beam and you guys get to see everything that I've done. But let me bring you back around to the workbench so we can talk about what's going on today. All right, guys. So we are back at the workbench now, and we are looking at my front hub assemblies, which are bad brakes. If you haven't seen those yet, go ahead and check out the vlog up here, where we actually did the install on the bad brake systems. There's 2 separate episodes of that, and what I need to do now is take apart my Kingpin Carriers and install the correct thrust washers, because previously, I had made my own thrust washers because there were no thrust washers installed at all on these assemblies, and I had all kinds of knocking going on. This is my passenger side, and on the passenger side, I had all kinds of knocking, but there is still, as you can see, space that should not be there. The actual spec for the space that's supposed to be in there is plus or minus 2 thousandths, which is not very much at all. That's like no space. Let me take you over to the board real quick and show you what we got going on and how I figured out what kind of thrust washers I need to install. All right, guys, we're over the board now, and what you see on this side, don't pay attention to this because this is all beam narrowing information. What you see on this side is where I did the spec plus or minus 2 thousandths on the thrust washers, and I got information on my driver's side and on my passenger side. First thing is I already took apart my driver's side and I was playing around with that, making my own thrust washer, and that took forever, and that was a pain in the butt. I wasn't sure how long it was going to take for me to get thrust washers in from Bug City, and that's where I ordered them at, the thrust washers. If you're curious about thrust washers and ordering your own, check out the description below. I will link Bug City down there so you guys can check it out. But here, I went ahead and recorded the gap, the actual gap from knocking the Kingpin up and down on my driver's side and on my passenger side with feeler gauges. So I got that set, and I was able to determine, based off of my current thrust washer, the washer that I have installed in there, which is this measurement, what I needed to have roughly. So driver's side I needed this, passenger side I needed this. So I made this one, which I'll probably end up tearing that out and installing the correct thrust washer now that I have it, so I'd just be done with this job finally. And then also remount the Kingpins with new bushings. Yeah, I got a Kingpin reamer too, and if you've been following me on the live feed or one of my previous episodes, I kind of talked about the Kingpin reamer already, but if you're interested in picking up one of those, check out the description below. I will also link that there. Cool, so this is kind of where we are. It's time to get over to the bench and get to work on, well, tearing these suckers apart and seeing what we got to deal with. This assembly is pretty much a downright mess right now back here. The first thing I want to do to make this a little bit more manageable is go ahead and disassemble the hub assembly and remove the bad brake rotor from it. So that's pretty simple. All I got to do is just pull off the cap and let's clean off some of the mess. I'm going to have to get some brake cleaner again because these are really dirty. And pop it off right in my face, maybe. Ooh, a little bit of chisel action here, guys. So I was looking at the different type of spindle lock nut that you can put on here too. The one that has a little Allen's key on it to lock it down. But Pete also told me, or Pete over there, Aircool, told me that these are actually better quality to use if you have them. So I was like, well, I still got them, so I'll use them. What size is that? It's big. It's big. Let's see if I have it in here. I will probably have to go standard. Here's a 1-inch. That's not it. 1 1/16. Ooh, that's it right there. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Yay, fun merry-go-round. Everybody likes some nice vice action. Ooh, hey, look at that. What do you know? What do you know? We got action. Let's put you in there. Can we get you off of there? Are you gonna be nice to me? Gonna need some assistance. So guys, do me a favor. If you are liking what you're watching, comment below. If you don't like what I'm doing, comment below, and I'll tell you to leave me alone. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, guys, because I appreciate all you guys coming over and hanging out with me in the garage, especially right now, because at this, like, when things are crazy like this is when we all need to kind of band together and stay cool, man. Why is this being such a pain in the butt? There we go. Good Lord. We're going to need a new one of those because that's just crazy. That's being super difficult. Oof. Not yet. Not yet, Jay. Not yet. Okay, now the whole hub assembly, or not hub assembly, but the rotor and, well, yeah, rotor and hub assembly should lift right off just like that. Hey, look at guys, we got it off. So we'll go ahead and move this out of the way for now. And now we're ready to start disassembly of the actual spindle itself. And the first step to that is knocking out the link pins. And these are your link pins right here. Those are actually moving pretty good. Your link pins right here, and your kingpin runs down through the center right here. This is called your Kingpin Carrier. This area right here, your Kingpin Carrier, and then link pin carriers right here. And your thrust washer sits right here. And we're going to show you what kind of thrust washer is currently installed, and then what we'll be putting in, the thrust washers that we'll be putting in here from Bug City. All right, so now we got to knock out these link pin carriers inside of here. That's how you get to the Kingpin. All right, I haven't decided what's going to be time-lapsed in this yet, but this might be something that is. She's moving, but she's moving a bunch of other crap too. Boop! Rocket launcher. Let's see if we can flip her over. I'll say it looks like there's a washer in there still. And there is. Yeah, we'll be just cleaning all these up and redoing everything. It doesn't hurt to redo the measurement anyway, because things might change. Yeah, things might change. Hey, what do you say? What do you say? Check it out, guys. We got both those out of there. Now my hands are all nasty. It's a good time to inspect your spindles too, to see if there's any serious pitting or scarring on them, because you may need to replace your spindles themselves. So now we're going to drive out the Kingpin, and let's see here. We'll go ahead and get her up in position to do that. Rats! You could just leave it in the vertical position still, but yeah, that's really up to you. So this would be a good time for you to go ahead and check and see what your actual space or gap is right there. Get out your feeler gauges, stick them in there, and kind of get an idea where you are. And then you'll get that gap there, figure out what your thrust washer currently is, and that's how you come up with what you need inside. Well, that's how you find out what you need for your thrust washer. I already know what mine is because I did this while I was in the car. So yeah, let's go ahead and drive out this Kingpin, and good to go. Good to go. I have a donor extension that I use for this because I don't have a brass drift that'll get inside of there. My brass drift won't do that. It's not thin enough, so I just use this extension and my big old hammer to knock that sucker out. Let's see how it goes. Now, if it's reamed correctly, it shouldn't be super difficult to knock out the Kingpin, but I already told you, it's not. There it goes. Actually, that wasn't super hard. Maybe it got kind of loosened up some from driving. Maybe. I don't know. So at this point, when you pull out when I pull out this extension, it'll just come apart. And now we can take a look at everything we're dealing with here when it comes to the assembly. So what we have here, and we'll start with the Kingpin Carrier. So here's our Kingpin Carrier. And the bushings that you normally replace, which these ones actually look pretty good still. I'll probably just run the reamer through it just to clean it up some. But you'll knock out these bushings, the top and the bottom. Your top bushing will have to be notched. And you can just notch this bushing out with a file once you run it down in there. And however you install that, there is a special tool that you can get to do it, which I don't have. So what I normally use is just my brass drift, and it'll knock it in there pretty easily. And then you'll ream it. You'll ream them out. Some people like to paint these assemblies once they have it back together, which that's cool. If you've got a car that's you're gonna be showing off your spindles to people at shows, which I don't. I show off my car at shows, but I don't show off the spindles at shows. So that is the Kingpin Carrier. Here's your spindle itself. So if you're putting on drop spindles, this is where everything gets changed. The orientation will all be changed. Your whole spindle will look different. And this is an empty 2.5-inch drop spindle. And I figured that out because it's got an empty part number on it right there. I'm gonna clean this up some more here in my little wash bucket with some soap here in a second. And then you have a guide, a washer guide, your thrust washer guide. I'm not sure on the actual name of this thing, but this is what allows it to guide into the grooves at the top of the spindle. And that's how you know you're at the top, because for one, there's a groove. You know the groove I just told you that you have to notch out? There's a groove right there. And then this guide washer will guide everything right into there. Oh, man. So yeah, that's cool. There's this like little fiber. It's usually fiber or a polyurethane plastic of some sort. A little washer here that also, actually this rides up inside of here to kind of provide a surface for movement. And then you have the actual thrust washer. And this one is just a washer that I cut down to size to fit up in there. You guys can see. See, this is, you can tell that this is homemade. Yeah, homemade by me. And if you're in a pinch, you could definitely make one of those. It's like the one that I made for my driver's side. I cut it out with a hole saw, and then it was perfect, the perfect size when I cut it out with a hole saw, and made my own. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this all up real quick, and I'll bring you guys back in a second and talk to you about the new thrust washers, because that's the fun stuff. Because here are our new thrust washers. The ones from Bug City. See? And these ones are actually OE German. Isn't that cool? Pretty neat. Once again, guys, check out the description below if you need to pick up some thrust washers for your car. And there's a good chance that yours are probably good. But if you're out of spec, out of tolerance, and you want to pick up some, these are like 10 bucks each. So do your measurements, figure out what you need, and order some. Yeah. Guys, this is my Eastwood belt sander. It's got a 6-inch belt here, and it's got a 4-inch belt up here. It's pretty awesome. There's a couple different ones that you can get from different locations. I did see one that Harbor Freight carries, which based off the reviews and stuff like that, it seemed like it just didn't have enough power really to drive the belt with any kind of pressure on it. I'm sure it can get the job done if you have a little stuff that you want to do, but I'm always doing fabrication stuff by hand with my little angle grinder, and I kind of got tired of that. What this does is it makes quick work of stuff like this. If I just want to clean this up, I can stick it up on here. This is an 80 grit, stick it up on here, it'll knock the edge off of it real quick, and we'll be good to go. Plus, it's just fun to turn on. All right, here we go. Yeah. Make it quick work. All right, guys, here's my reamer that I picked up from CarCraft. You want to make sure that you're always putting a little bit of oil. I just use a little bit of this PB Blaster that I have right here, and I'm just going to oil this up before I run this through. Just like that. Yeah. No problem. No problem. And you can run this through a few times just to make sure that you're catching whatever little bit of debris that you need to pull through. And then you'll clean off your reamer once you pull it through. Be careful though, these things are sharp. And you can see there's not much that was on there. You can see the sparklies though. Caught a little bit. Whenever you run new bushings through though, believe me, it's gonna eat off a little bit more, quite a bit more. Now, she's going pretty easy now. Oh, there she goes. No problem. No problem. Always keep your tools in their cases, especially with reamers and stuff. Keeps them protected. And you can put a little light coat of oil on there to help keep it from rusting over. So, cool. Very good. Yeah. So, here we go. Okay, guys, so I got everything pretty much cleaned up. What I like to use when assembling my my spindles, my Kingpin Carriers, and my link pins is a little bit of Marvel's Mystery Oil. I also use this when assembling engines. Put a little bit in my little can here, and we are good to go. It makes everything go together fairly easily. So we've gone ahead and reamed out the Kingpin Carrier. I cleaned everything up with some some dial soap and some water. What we want to do now is move back over to the vise and do a dry fit on the spindle assembly and make sure that everything fits the way it needs to fit with our new thrust washers. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, and 3. And I ordered 3 different sizes, but it looks like what we got here for this one is that it is the same as one of the other ones, which is an oopsie on Bug City. But let's take a look and see if I can get a better look at this this number here. I can't tell. We'll go ahead and get out my caliber and check these real quick and find out what the thickness is on these. Because I think that this one, which is supposed to be a 356, is not the 356. So we'll go ahead and check these real quick and see where we are. I need something close to a 385, which I can go ahead and take the 388 down to the right size and make sure that we are where we need to be. But we'll go ahead and test fit it first, because maybe this will be the size we need. So let's go ahead and get my mic out and mic these real quick. I'd run this in millimeters because I've just gotten really used to running millimeters on it. So we'll take it down, we'll zero it out, and let's go ahead and check this one first. It's supposed to be 388, and says we're at 385. Actually, this is 383. This one's supposed to be 383. So with a little bit of pressure, well, it's close. Close according to my mic. This one's supposed to be 388. Oh, see, that's really close because let's zero this out. Dang it, that's not zero. Zero it out. 388. Not quite 388. This one, I think this is 388 too, but let's find out. 380. Well, it's all good because I can get it to where I need it to be. That was close to a 3.7 is what it was saying, I think. Oh, 380. So, on this 383 was at, I would say, about a 379. Okay, and this was my one that I made, which was way too small. 241. Cool. So let's go ahead and dry fit it and see where we are. I want it standing up for the dry fitting anyhow. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to go ahead and take our fiber washer and stick it inside of the guide. And then we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and go with the indicated smaller thrust washer first and see how that fits. See, it fits right on top of the spindle. There's a little guide pin there, and there's a little hole for this thrust washer. And then we'll go ahead and stick the guide on here. And we're just going to run it through. Make sure that it wasn't just the way it was sitting. Look at that. That's what we're looking for right there, because that's super tight. And pop this bad boy in there a little bit. Oh, that is a nice tight fit. Yeah. I think we probably are right at our 2000s of gap too, but we'll go ahead and get the feeler gauge out real quick and check it out. So we're looking for the 2000s on this bad boy. Oh, it's right there, 2000s. 2000s is really freaking thin. It's like paper thin. So let's see if we can get this in there. No, that's it. That 2000s fits just right in there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and use this for this assembly, and we just need to go ahead and put a little bit of oil on here to make sure that we're good to go, and then we should be all right. Okay guys, we're gonna go ahead and slip this apart. We're gonna put some oil on here and get it assembled. Now that we have the correct thrust set up. Cool. So a little bit of oil on these bushings. There we go. Just a little bit there. A little there. Put some on the surfaces to help things go together. Put some oil on the thrust washer. Good. A little bit of oil on the fiber washer. And then a little bit of oil on top of the guide. All right, clean up my hand a little bit. Very good. Let's go ahead and see what we do here. See if we can get her going. Oh, there she goes. All right. So now what we need to do is get our kingpin going down inside. And you want to pay attention to your kingpin because there are grease holes on here. And you want to make sure that these passages are cleared, guys, so that your grease can flow through. This is a pretty new kingpin, so I'm not too concerned about that. But if you have an older kingpin, you're probably going to want to go ahead and make sure your passages are cleared out so that grease can flow easily. You want to make sure these passages are facing your grease zerts. So let's go ahead and oil this up a little bit. There we go. Grease zerts on the back side, so passages need to go to the back side. We'll just tap it down in there a little bit. Very good. Got a little movement here. Let's back up in the vise. There we go. Go ahead and keep moving your spindle a little bit as you're driving this down through here, just to make sure you're not getting any binding. Good. There we go. There are all kinds of kids out there. So you want to make sure that your assembly moves all right, which we do. We got good movement. It's nice and tight, and that's what we want, nice and tight. When you drive through your kingpin, you need to make sure that the area here is clear enough for your link pins bushings to drive into here. So next thing we'll do is we'll lube up the area for the link pin bushings, and we'll run those in. Okay guys, so now that we're driving in the link pin bushings, you want to make sure that the grease hole is also facing the grease zert on this, okay? So pay attention to that because it's important. A little bit of lube on the bushing. It may take a couple taps to get started. Just a couple wraps to get her going. All right, let me see if I got a piece of wood I can stick there. So a little bit of block of wood to keep from damaging the surface that we redid here. Pretty good. Now this last little bit, maybe a little difficult because of the wood isn't going to allow you to get there. So take the hammer. This is what I do: is I take a hammer that's the same size, and then I use that to rip it in, get it in this way. If you have to, I guess you could use a socket. There you go, nice and flush. Flip over, and we'll do the other side. Put some lube up in here. Lube up our bushing. Make sure your grease hole is facing towards the grease zert. And we are. Just a couple wraps to get it started. Now with the wood. Good. Let's see if we can knock this down in the rest of the way. Oh yeah, that worked a lot better. And you guys might be able to see better. We doing it, getting everything flush. A little bit of wood. A little bit of wood, a little bit. All right. Little hammer trick. Almost. Good. Clean out any bit of debris we got. I'll bring you guys over and show you how flush it is. All right, guys, you can see that everything is moving good. There is like no play in there now, so that's awesome. Very good, man. That is what we're looking for. Nice tight spindle assembly. Nice and flush there. Now the rest of the work, the rest of the job is gonna have to wait until I get the torsion arms installed on the front end. But yeah, good stuff. We're gonna go close out here, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other side off camera because it's pretty much everything that I just did all over again. And I know you guys. All right. We are done for today, guys. That's quite a bit of stuff, quite a bit of information we threw at you there with the thrust washers and how to set the correct thrust on your Kingpin link pin front end. So do me a favor, if you have any questions about this, hit me up in the comments below because I know there's probably going to be some questions, and I'll be more than happy to help you out with that. Don't forget that we're going to be narrowing that beam, and that's what we're waiting on. We got to get the torsion bars installed and get that correct offset figured out before we can figure out where our shims need to go. The shims I went ahead and stuck in a little baggie right here with some Marvel's Mystery Oil to keep them from rusting up or anything like that. And we have the driver's side still to do. I got to tear apart the driver's side and get it set right because right now it's not right, and I don't want to use that homemade shim that I have in there because that thing's crazy. Love my new tool. That Eastwood belt sander is awesome. If you guys are interested in checking that thing out, go to the description below and hop on over to Amazon and pick one up. Don't forget, guys, I'm an Amazon affiliate, so if you do pick one up, you're going to help out supporting the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Thanks to all my new subscribers. You guys are great. Stay tuned because the next episode, we get the front end back together on Goose and get it back on the road and go out for a cruise and a drive. Hopefully this whole Corona COVID thing will be over soon and we can get back out to the shows, guys, because I miss all you guys and I miss hanging out and talking Volkswagens, and I know you do too. So guys, this is Jason with JWClassicVW, and I will see you guys on the next one.